Hey everybody, it's Strict 9 with Strict 9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders playthrough with the Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2020. Finishing up this season, the second season I've been with this playthrough. Things are looking better than they were last year, but this team is still, not where they need to be to meet the goals. And I'm hoping with 9 games left, we got 5 at home, 4 on the road. I'm hoping we can somehow turn it around, but I think what it's going to come down to is, are we going to win some of these road games? Marshall, Charlotte, Texas San Antonio, those teams are kind of struggling this year. They're in bottom half of the standings in the conference. We need to win one, maybe 2 of those. We've got some tough home matchups like North Texas, Old Dominion, Florida International. It's going to be a tough run, but I'm hoping, if we finish 9-9, I'd be happy. So if we can somehow pull it out, finish strong, I'll feel better about the season that we had. Started off really poor in that non-conference schedule. Lost our first 5 games of the season, set us back. Now we're playing better. I just hope that it's going to be enough to keep us competitive. One of the things about this team is we're losing 2 starters next year. Delzell, the shooting guard, who is our top scorer. We're losing small forward. We're losing both small forwards, really, who have any chance at starting on this team. Well, no, I'll take it back. Trombley, who's how many minutes? 11 minutes a game. He might be able to start next year. Hopefully, he will. His relationships are good enough. Hopefully, he won't transfer out, and he'll be a starter for us next year. But it's not make or break necessarily. But we need to keep this momentum going. We need to finish strong. I'd hope to see us finish close to 500. Maybe. Get a spot in the conference tournament, sneak out a win or 2, finish good enough that we satisfy the AD and meet a goal or 2 on our challenges there. I think we need to finish, not finish last in the conference, finish above 500. Those would be 2 things, if we hit them, I think would really help us out. But I said I wasn't going to tinker too much, but I've been debating it. I think I am going to look at this strategy and do one more change to the offenses and go 25 to Princeton and 25 to flex. And I don't know if it matters too much on the practice plans at this point, and I was even thinking about moving the defenses around a little bit, but I'm really afraid to tackle that. I don't want to change too much of that right now, but let's let it go with that and just get started. I'm just going to go ahead and leave the depth charts where they're at. For what it's worth, after that 0-5 start, we have won 9 of 15, something like that. So could be worse, but let's go ahead. We'll get it going. And I would love to see a win streak going, but I'm probably more likely to see a 2 or 3 game losing streak with this schedule the way it is now, before I'll see a 2 or 3 game win streak. We have had some pretty decent wins, but for the most part, it's like the home record is saving us. The away record is killing us. We're 1-9, I think, on the road. No wins on the road in conference so far, which is crazy. That seems a little bit too upside down, but here we go. North Texas is one of the better teams in the conference. Let's see how their record is right now. I think it's 8-1. This would be a good win, but I think this is probably going to be a home loss for us. One of the few. No, great win. Who would have thought? So that evens our record up in the conference. But, this is one of those games I'm I was thinking, hey, we're going to lose down the stretch. So that puts us in a pretty good spot. We got Pescine suffers an injury, but he's a backup power forward and really not a good one. I don't think he's getting much time at all, but let's take a look at the box score first. So we'll probably have to go back to the fourth for that. Man, that was a good win. Good defense. So maybe I'm glad I didn't tinker with the defense. We held them to 40% shooting. We had a great shooting game. Rebounds close. Turnovers close, finally. They struggled at the free throw line, so did we, but we went to the free throw line quite a bit. Delzell, one of his better games, plus 19, 16 points, and also Eschmeyer, plus 20, 10 points, 8 rebounds. This guy has been like a complete turnaround from last season. His ratings took a dive. I'm hoping that he's going to be better. I love his size. I think if he would, if his ratings matched his physical abilities or physical size, I think he'd be a dominating center. Not a bad performance from Montgomery for the most part, plus 16. Not many points from Hall and Craig, but we didn't need it. And off the bench, we got a few guys here with some points. Tinsley, 9. Landrum, the backup power forward, looked pretty good. Jack and Webb struggled at point guard. But this was a good win, really good win for us. Let me take a look at the inbox. Still waiting on that last scholarship. So we got Southern Miss and Marshall. How's Southern Miss? They're one of those teams that are up and down. They're pretty decent in conference this year. That's moved this up a little bit in the rankings. Take a look at that injury from Pescine. Yeah, mild concussion. He's 90%, but he is really not getting much play time. Didn't want to go there. Recruiting's still trying to get this Bailey. We're 5th now, and I don't, if he's still around when we get to the next contact period, maybe I can pick him up that way. It's probably going to be the last chance I'll have with him. But let's keep moving. That was a good surprise win. And sim through the week here. I guess, maybe I just need to hope that we don't have a big losing streak here and there, but man, it would be nice to get a 3 or 4 game win streak going. I think that would, 3, 4 for sure wins in a row would put us in a great spot for meeting the goals that we have for this team. And I guess I didn't really note it at the time, but that win equals our total for all of last season. That's how bad last season was. And gives us 8 games left in the conference. So now we got Florida Atlantic. This is probably going to be a tough road game. Let me see. I think they're one of the better teams in the conference, if I'm not mistaken. 6-4, yeah. So they're tough. This would be a good road win, but we can't do it. 87-76, and just we can't get over that hump. We can't get 2 or 3 games in a row, 2 or 3 wins in a row in this conference. That's just it's been a killer, really. So defensively, obviously, we weren't too sharp in this one, but we did have a good shooting performance. We just didn't get as many shots. They out-rebounded us a little bit. Turnovers, close. I'm looking, though. They were much better shooting, especially three-pointers. They really tore us up. 26 points from Brewer, who's shooting guard for them, and a really poor one. Just a 1.5-star player, but he's a freshman. 14.7 points a game, so he's having a good year. For us individually, Eschmeyer turned it on here, 17.7 rebounds. He's going to struggle to get 10 points a game this year. Last year, he was our leading scorer at 12.7. Not playing as many minutes this year. Well, he's close, about a minute less than last year. Hall, who's been really good down the stretch, another double digits for him in points. Craig, not so much, not much from him. Off the bench, Smiley, surprisingly, to be a walk-on senior center, he's done pretty well when he's had to come in. Tinsley, same with him. Off the bench, he's been pretty good. I wonder what his shooting percentage is. 48%. He's a good shooter. But man, the big thing here, Jack and Webb, it's just point guard is tough. I'm kind of glad now. I wasn't planning on it, but I'm really kind of glad that I went with that point guard in recruiting. I think we need to start moving away from the guys we have on this team. All three of them are going to be returning next year. So one of them for sure is going to be odd man out at point guard. So let's get playing again. I don't know if we got another road game or another home game, but we can't afford a loss here. We got to stay right around 500 for the rest of the season at this point. And again, we got to get a road win. I don't know if it's going to happen, but one of these teams has got to fall on the road. That North Texas win was big. We still have another couple of home games that are going to be tough. So now we're down to 7 games left. Be nice to finish 4 and 3 out of those, but that's maybe asking a lot at this point. All right, here we go. Rice. Boy, they're struggling. This would be an upset for them. They may be gearing for an upset. Who knows? They're one of the worst teams in the conference this year. Record is 3-8 in conference, so I don't know. Just 2 wins back from us. And not to be 76-67. Pretty good game. Good win. Christian Eschmeyer again. Double digits in points. Hall again, double digits. He's really been good for us. That puts us 1 win more than we had all of last season. And let me take a look at the box score here. Looks like defensively, right away I'm seeing, once again, turnovers. We're starting to get a little bit better game to game, at least against this poor opponents. We out-rebounded them here. We shot 50%. Not as good from the free throw line, but luckily we didn't need it here. Individually, Eschmeyer, player of the game, 9 rebounds, almost a double-double with 14 points. Hall, again, like I say, guy's getting close to 10 points now for the season. I don't know if he'll make it. Craig, pretty good. Montgomery, comparing last year to this, he's getting a little bit more time. His assists are up quite a bit more. I think that probably has to do with backing away from that Princeton offense, and I really think that's made a big difference. I don't know if that's the key difference, but I just don't think we were geared to run that offense. And then off the bench, Landry, good game from him. He's still just a sophomore power forward. I hope he develops because I like his attitude better, but he's not going to be a good scoring power forward. I think he could be a good all-around player, though. Have to keep an eye on what his ratings look like next year. And then again, these 2 point guards, just, Webb had 4 turnovers, so nothing much from him. Bench play continues to be a poor performance from the bench game to game. Take a look at the emails here. I'm wondering if we're finally going to have a decision from that one recruit left over. Nope. That's the Norton semifinalist. So here we go. What are we, 6-6 in conference? Yeah, so 6 more games left. Am I counting that right? 6 more games? Yeah, 6 more games left. We just need to get a streak going. It's 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss, and really that's just going home and away is what it's been like all year. Still looking for a good road win from this team. And we got it to end the non-conference schedule. We beat East Carolina on the road, but none in conference. Marshall, usually a good program in this conference. They're 5-7 this year, so this is a very close matchup. I don't know if this is the road win we're going to get, and it's not. 86-73. Some high scoring from DeWitt on their team. We didn't. I'm seeing like a bench player in our leading scoring, so not a good one here. Whew. Consistency, man. It's not with this team. 13 points from Delzell. He's 11.5 points. Team leader. Eschmeyer, not too bad. 8 rebounds, 9 points. Hall struggled, 0-6 from 3-pointers, 1-8 total. And then bench play, we had some good bench play. Look at Jack, 10 points. That's his high for the year, I think. But he's he's still pretty bad overall. And I didn't really look at the teams, but this is a poor shooting performance from us, and they really look good at the line. Look at that, 15 of 17. Rebounds were close. We won the turnover battle, so that's good. We're getting really good at turnovers, or better at turnovers. But that puts us back in the hole, 6-7 in the conference. I think we're running out of opportunities to turn it around and have a winning record in conference. We'd have to go 4-5, or 4 out of these last 5 games to finish above 500. Don't see that happening. And we were 7-11 in conference last year. It would really be disappointing to finish that way again this year. East Carolina, they're 11-14. They're still, from a pretty closely matched conference with us. I'm still falling on that one as one of the bigger wins we had. So now, Southern Miss at home, they're having a tough year record-wise, but I think they're probably, they're competitive in conference. So this is a tough one to watch. I mean, this could be a toss-up. Luckily, it wasn't 73-55. Eschmeyer, Tinsley off the bench. Man, he's I guess he's wanting to make a statement, because I think he is a senior, so maybe he's wanting to leave on a good note. Take a look at that box score here. I think it's 18th, maybe, yeah. So team-wise, defensively, we held them. They struggled for 3-pointers. We were close in rebounds, way ahead of them in turnovers. Big difference in the game. Eschmeyer, once again, player of the game, and he gets a double-double in this one. Craig was just shut down. I don't know what happened to him. One of his worst games of the year. Luckily, Landrum off the bench came through. He didn't have a lot of points, but he must have played well when he was out there. Montgomery struggled. This was probably a game where our bench came through for us. Landrum, Smiley, Tinsley, even Trombley. Look at the plus-minus there. Webb, 4 assists off the bench. Pretty good for him. He's a junior. I mean, he's got very little chance of making an impact on this team. But that gets us back. Is that getting us back to 500 in conference? I think it does. And now we got Florida International and Charlotte. Florida International is best team in the conference. Well, one of the best teams with North Texas. That's how good that North Texas win was, really, now that you look at it. But, man, what do we got to do to win on the road? 1-11. That's crazy. All right, so let's get back to it. One more win would best, beat our conference record from last year. I guess that's the next goal to shoot for. I mean, we're probably not going to finish above 500. I think we'd have to really probably win 2 of these next 4 and then win 2 in the conference tournament. I think that's a tough ask, or even 3 in the conference. It's probably a tough thing for this team. So Texas San Antonio, this is one of the road games where we have a little bit of an advantage, but once again, a 6-8 team in conference, I think, is going to beat us. Yeah, 20 points. We just can't win on the road. We're not good enough to do it, and I think that's why we're not going to meet the goals of winning record this year. It's just going to be too much out of our reach. We shot poorly here, didn't have a whole lot of attempts, and defensively they owned the rebound game, 39-27. Turnovers were back in the negative there. Starters just didn't have a great game at all. Craig, 10 points, but 7 rebounds, but -12. Eschmeyer struggled. Off the bench, Tinsley with 9 points. Jack really looked bad. That was a poor game. I mean, one of the poorest we've had in a while. So that's gonna put us in the hole, 7-8. I don't see us winning 3. I don't see us winning the final 3. We got Old Dominion, I think. We're gonna finish with Florida International. And once again, I think it was that start of 0-5, at least for the overall record, that just did us in. That's a big thing to overcome. And I had hoped that with a poor schedule, competition-wise, that we would have been able to at least finish above 500. But we got close. So it is going to be Old Dominion at home, but I tell you, Old Dominion's a good program. I think their record in the conference is 9-6. This could be a loss for us. Oh my gosh. 73-72. Man, that would have been a good game probably, although it would have given me a heart attack. That would have been a good game to sim out or to view. How did we manage this? 73-72. And let me see. Just very close. We had them up 3 at the half. They outscored us in the second by a little bit. They shot well, but didn't get a whole lot of attempts. And I tell you, we looked great at the line. Right away, the turnovers. I don't know if it was moving into that. Again, just moving away from that Princeton. But we have really played so much better. Outside of Montgomery, 5 turnovers from him. Outside of Montgomery, we have played so much better. when it comes to turnovers, and I think that's been one of the big differences. Individually, you gotta like the line from Eschmeyer. Puts him over 10 points now for the year. I think he would. Well, he may have been kind of right around 10 for most of the year. His numbers look about the same year to year. So I hope he gets his ratings back to where they were last season. Montgomery had a good game, 12 points plus 7. His assists have come down though quite a bit. He's still playing better than he did last year. And then Delzell holding on to that team lead in scoring. Off the bench, Landrum. And I hope he don't lose him. He probably wants to start, but just not quite there. And then Jack and Webb, point guard. Once again, I really probably should have been targeting a point guard all along in recruiting. All right, so we got 2 games left, and it's one on the road, one at home, but the home is going to be against one of the best teams in the conference. And I think the next road opponent is, if we've got a chance to beat anybody on the road, I mean, this is probably a team that we should match up well against and beat. I don't want it to go down to that last game against Florida International, that we have to win that one to finish at 500 in conference. I think it's Charlotte that we have on the road. They may have turned it around, though. I haven't paid much attention to the standings lately. Well, they're 13 and 14. And conference, I bet they're better than they were. Well, they're 6 and 10 in conference. I don't know. I don't know if we can do it. Got to click the button. 61-58. I mean, you can't win on the road. You just cannot do it. I mean, that's murder to overcome that kind of upside down record. You know, we shot really bad, 21 of 30, 21 of 60. Rebounds were close, turnovers were close, but you can't win shooting like that. Delzell, 14 points, led the way. Eschmeyer, 12 rebounds. That may have been his career high. Yep, career high for him in rebounds. Puts him just a little bit better this year than last. But dang it, I think that's probably going to be it for in terms of how we're going to finish. I really don't know if we'll beat that Florida International team at home. If I go to the standings, right now, they are just a game behind North Texas, so you know they're going to go in there wanting to win this one. 1 and 13. That is terrible. Just terrible. How can we be that bad on the road? I mean, I hope that improves, but I don't know if that's maybe something in the sim engine. I hope not. I mean, even if we lose, you know, we're going to be 3 wins better than last year. We're going to be in the tournament this year where we weren't last year in terms of the conference tournament. And I might even get a chance to play through that. We may take a look. I think I'm doing pretty good on time. We did win against North Texas at home, so for what it's worth. Boy, this is it. I mean, this is going to be I mean, this means a lot if we can somehow win. Yes, close, but I'll take it. Eschmeyer, good game. Delzell, 14 points, so he's going to finish with a pretty good point total. Same with Eschmeyer, double from him. I'm just hoping that his ratings go up. I think that has to be some kind of aberration for him to have those kind of that kind of a dip in his ratings. So that puts us one game below 500 for the year. Man, we won this game, not shooting well. Rebounds were close. Turnovers again, we won that battle, and we just went to the line way more than they did, and that was the difference. Individually, Craig struggled, even though he's plus 11. I'm not sold on this guy as a starter. I'm really not, but it's the best of two fairly poor choices. Landrum, you can see off the bench, and his numbers, they're not there. I don't think he's going to score enough to start. But Eschmeyer, good game from him. Almost 6 rebounds for the year. That's pretty good per game. Delzell, even Montgomery getting his point totals up. So he showed some improvement over last year. And then off the bench, Smiley, I've been kind of impressed with him to be a walk-on. He's played okay here and there. Tremblay, a junior, again, he may be odds on unless, those freshman recruits, unless they look really good next year, he might have to start at small forward. But that's going to do it for the regular season. I think let's go ahead and get this conference tournament out of the way. So we finished above the pack, or above the middle. So that's going to be one goal we accomplished. The 13-2 record at home is one of the best in the conference. Only 1-2. I guess we're pretty much right there with the rest of the conference when it comes to the home record. Nobody's playing for the draft, and we're going to be playing Marshall. So how do we stack up against Marshall? The record, they're down here at 7-11, but I think they beat us at home. Wait. So Marshall, we lost to them on the road. That's right. We did lose to them on the road. That's the only game we played against them this year. And I'll take a look at the polls before we get started, kick off this conference tournament. Probably be able to get through the tournament pretty quick. Wow, look at this. Florida's the number 1 team in the conference, or in the rankings. Maryland, Texas, Georgia Tech. They made it to the Elite 8 last year. They're a pretty good team again this year. I think Kansas is a surprise, all the way down to 19. Memphis is having a good year. Marquette, Oklahoma State. RPI rankings, we're not too good. I think I'll look at it. Yeah, we're way down there, and that's because of that poor non-conference schedule. That's going to change with the new version. It's like a net something. We'll have to check how that works when we start playing the 2021. But let's take a look at the brackets here for the top conference tournament. So we got Marshall, then Florida Atlantic. Well, we got to beat Marshall, and then Florida Atlantic. Florida, 2 wins would be huge. I don't have to really. And we're gonna go back to the grid view, or the games grid, but this has been an improvement, but again, we're not going to make the goals unless we win 2, even 3, in conference tournament. $15 wins though. That's 5 more than last year. So if we could at least get to that, that would be happy. But I'd be happy. But I don't think you can rule out a loss here early on. Now Marshall, they're probably scouted to beat us more than likely. Yeah, by a little. I need to check recruiting real quick. So we're in the evaluation phase. Where's this guy at? We're 5th. I still want to catch him if I can. He's the best recruit got available. Evaluation, though, we can, there's nothing really to do. It's contact I'm looking for, which is March 19th. So that'll be in a couple weeks. I'm gonna visit him at home if he's still available. So let's sim. I'm going to sim every game. And we'll look at the scores. Maybe see if there's any upsets that might give us an idea of our chances here against Marshall. So it looks like Western Kentucky lost to Texas El Paso. Charlotte loses to Louisiana Tech. Southern Miss over Texas San Antonio. So is there any upsets here? Southern Miss not as good in conference as San Antonio. So did Texas El Paso win? I think they did. Yeah. All right. Man, we need this win so bad. And we don't get it. So that's how it ends. 91-73. That's a poor showing in the tournament. Man, I had hopes. I really did. So once again, we have made one goal, which was not to finish last in conference, but that's it. And we'll jump back to... Okay, so Southern Miss knocks off North Texas, so they're aiming for an upset here. Old Dominion, they knock off Texas El Paso, so the best team in the conference is out. Old Dominion's still hanging tough. They may be the team to do it. I'm surprised that Southern Miss, though, still in there. So it's going to be Southern Miss against Florida International. Wow. So Florida International, not too big of a surprise. They were the second best team in the conference. But man, Southern Miss, that would be pretty sad if this is the team that makes it. They've been pretty good at home or on the road, 4 wins. And, when you look at the rest of the schedule or the standings, they've got one of the better road records in conference. We've got one of the worst, 1-13. Only one other team really is worse than us on the road. All right, so is it going to be an upset from this conference? And this is it probably for Southern Miss. They don't win here. They don't go anywhere in the postseason. And we'll just look at it from the tournament here. Oh, and it wasn't to be. Florida International knocks them off. So that's how that's going to end. Probably a good team to make it from that team, but let's get through the rest of this week. And that'll do it. So now we're going to be going to Final Four tournament. I'll leave that for next episode, where we'll get through the Final Four tournament, all the other postseason tournaments, and then we'll finish up our season and see how we do. Although right away I can tell you, of the goals that we had, we're only going to probably improve. We're only going to meet one of them. So it's going to come down to, I think next year would be make or break with this team in terms of, am I going to keep the job? And, you know, based on the way we're looking with recruiting, you know, maybe if Eschmeyer doesn't improve his ratings, I think he had a decent season, but he wasn't dominating out there at the center. You know, maybe we can turn it around. I do feel like, considering that start, we finished 14-9 after that. No, 14-11. Is that right? Yeah, 14-11 after that terrible start. So maybe that's something to build on. We did have some pretty good wins here and there. I mean, the Old Dominion, that squeaker, that was pretty good. We did beat Florida International to close out the season. We beat the team that won the conference tournament, so we're close. You know, we beat North Texas. You know, I think we're close. We just got to find a way to pick up 2, 3, 4 more wins on the road to be one of the top teams in the conference. And I don't know how there's nothing really I can think of settings-wise or gameplay-wise that's going to improve that directly. So I guess it's just a matter of getting some better players in here, and hopefully looking at recruiting one last time before we close out. We're not going to have, we're not going to have a great recruiting class unless we get this guy and kind of salvage something, but just have to go with what we got. But as always, thanks for watching and supporting the channel. I'll see you next episode when we wrap up yet another season. Thanks.